All right, welcome back. It is 6:19. I had to wait 2 seconds for that to actually work. Free legal advice day. Attorney Dave Betras hanging out with us in studio, answering your legal questions free of charge once again, as he always does on the first Monday of the month. You have a good weekend?
I did. I had such a great weekend. I left the boat early to come back here just to be here for you, Steve.
It's important, not for me. It's for everybody out there that has the questions
there.
in Facebook land and email land.
And email land and call in live.
Yes, absolutely. Call in live. There's the number down there at the bottom of your screen if you want to call in during either of these segments. We'll start with one from Facebook, though. This person's asked, can an HOA, a homeowners association, make me get rid of a dog I already had when I moved in?
Well, you're going to have to, an HOA is an agreement amongst people living in like a condominium, okay? And so you'd have to look at what the HOA said when you moved in. You might have an argument that they knew you had the dog and knew you moved in, but they might say, we didn't know you have the dog. So if the HOA agreement says no pets and you have a pet, just because you moved in there, you'd have to prove that they knew that. But the HOA is just, it's a conglomeration of all the neighbors. It's not just, you know, the HOA. It's not just those group of people. So you're probably, if I had to give a guess, unless there's some other extenuating circumstances, they could probably make you get rid of the dog.
Is it hard to go against an HOA just in general?
Well, you have rules you have to follow.
And you know that going in, right?
You know that going in. I mean, they give you the agreement. They know it going in. It's saying no dog. So if you had a dog, you either had to get a waiver from them or no dog. And they can come in with what's called equitable powers of the court. So an equitable power is to restrain you or to get a restraining order against you from owning that dog in that HOA.
At the same time, are they legally bound to let you know of all the terms in the HOA agreement before you move in?
Well, they give you a contract. I know people don't read contracts.
Okay, well, that's easy enough.
I'm guilty of it. Like, you get a new app, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to spend an hour.
Accept,
you know, and you don't know what's in there.
Here's my soul.
Right, but when you're spending that kind of money for a condominium or a housing development, maybe you should take time and read the fine print, especially if you've been around the neighborhood a little bit. You don't see anyone walking dogs. Like, I don't care what neighborhood you go into. You go in during the day or in the evening or in the morning, people are walking their dogs. So if you went there in the morning or the evening and you don't see people walking dogs, you might want to go, why are there no dogs here? Like, everyone loves dogs.
Maybe I should read the fine print, as he said.
Right.
All right, this one came from email. This person says they filed for bankruptcy. Everything was finalized. Now they see the same company trying to take them to court to collect on something that was released in the bankruptcy. So what are their options?
Okay, so they're not allowed to do that. If they were listed as a creditor in the original bankruptcy proceeding, they need to get a hold of their bankruptcy lawyer to reopen the bankruptcy and put them in there, okay? Or if they were in there, then they're violating fair debt and collection laws. And if you don't know or have a lawyer, I have a friend of mine, she's probably one of the top bankruptcy lawyers in Ohio. You give me a call and then I'll hook you up with her.
All right, sounds good. This one, another question from all the folks online. Is there a Marcy's law that can get someone incarcerated in early release if they've been in more than 180 days?
So they're conflating two issues here. Marcy's law is a law to protect victims. Marcy's law allows victims to have more of an input in what's going on. So I think what they're asking is if someone asks for early release, do they have to let the victims know under Marcy's law? The answer is yes. So if you know they filed for judicial release, you can go there, you can object to it, and you can have a voice in it.
All right, well, there you go. We will have a second segment with Dave coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. Get those questions in now, keep them rolling.
Room.
And he'll hang out with Jody and answer any questions you have in between as well. So give him a call. That number's still the same number at the bottom of your screen. We'll be back with the Farmers Trust Financial Report when we come back. And we are back. It is 6:41 on your Monday morning. Attorney Dave Betras back for round 2 of free legal advice here on the first Monday of the month. You ready to do this?
I am. I didn't get a chance much to talk to Jody because the phone was ringing so much, but go ahead.
That's okay. Well, we have a couple more questions lined up. This one came from Facebook. It says, can a father obtain full custody of a child, or is it given automatically to the mother? Do attorneys advocate for the father as well?
So the trend nowadays, that used to be, that's old school thinking.
Yeah.
The trend nowadays with the courts is to do co-parenting. And that is really sort of the standard. And for you to not to have co-parenting, that would be the aberration or the exception. So most courts now are going with co-parenting. They found that's better for the health of the children.
So it's kind of flipped the script a little bit.
Well, it's not flip the script. Flipping the script would be giving the dad
okay,
custody.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and, not to correct you. But
That's it. Listen, it's Monday. We're all moving slow. We got one from email. This person asked if they can get their alimony adjusted after retiring.
It depends on what the paperwork says.
Okay.
You'd have to look at the judgment entry and see what the judgment entry says about alimony. If it's lifetime alimony, usually when you hit 10 to 15 years, no, 20 years, you got lifetime alimony. So if you're married 20 years, I don't think you can get it. If you, it just depends. It depends on what's in that judgment entry. There's no right or wrong answer. Depends on the length of the marriage, whether it can be adjusted after retirement, things of that sort.
All right. Well, again, you guys can call in live. We haven't had any live callers yet. How about that? That's a rarity. You did have a couple back in the back, though. What did you guys talk about?
I, for some reason, had every bankruptcy call there was available.
Interesting.
So one gentleman wanted to know if he filed bankruptcy, his daughter filed bankruptcy, him and his wife were creditors. It's been 4 years, and they haven't gotten any money from the reorganization. You know, there's two types of bankruptcy, Chapter 7, Chapter 11. I said, well, what'd you wait 4 years for? You probably didn't get into the payment plan. Call the bankruptcy lawyer and do it. And then I had a gentleman call me who defaulted on a lease 4 years ago, turned it over to a collection agency, and he's only on Social Security and another pension. Can they come after his Social Security? Usually Social Security is hands off. Sometimes if it hits a bank account and you have other money in there, they can go after that. But if you owe a debt, there's very strict rules I want to tell people about debt collectors, and most of them violate those rules. People don't realize that. But something I did want to tell your viewers about that just happened to a client of mine. And so people listen to this very carefully. There's a scam going on out here right now where this company sends you very official looking papers and says there's a warrant for your arrest. Now what they're doing is they're mainly targeting people who have records, but even some people who don't have records. And they said, in order, and they have the sheriff's name on there, it looks official. In order for us not to come out and arrest you, you got to send us money. And these people fall for it. No law enforcement agency, unless it's a parking ticket or something like that, is going to come out and arrest you unless you pay them money. So everyone needs to pay attention to that. My poor client went and bought Bitcoin and sent them the Bitcoin. Who knows where they're from? But he showed me the paperwork. And if you're just, you know, someone that's a laborer or someone, you know, that it looks official. I mean, I looked at it, I go, my gosh, I'm surprised how official this looks.
They're getting sophisticated. We do have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead with your question for Attorney Betras.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, sir, I'm going through a custody battle. The mother of my child has passed away. So my question was, they were still receiving money from child support payments even after she passed away. She's been passed away since May 17th of 2023. Will I be reimbursed any of those payments, or will I thought my child support was supposed to be stopped?
Well, you have to do something. They just don't automatically stop it. You have to go to court. You now have paramount rights to custody, and that child support payment should have been stopped. The only thing you could do now is if she files an estate to try to get it back from the estate. Who from the time your wife died till now, who has had the child?
He's actually been placed in a boys group home, the Buckeye Ranch.
Okay, do you want your child? Caller, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been trying since I moved here from Columbus, Ohio.
Well, do you have a
Steve
lawyer?
In person at Hothead Burritos, who's one of my customers.
Do you have a lawyer representing you? Caller, do you have a lawyer representing you?
Actually, I don't have a lawyer. They just gave me a caseworker, but she's non-communicating with me.
Listen to me. You need to hire a lawyer to get custody of your child and to terminate that child support. That child support has now gone to that home where he's at. You still have to pay child support to support your child. So it may have gone from your wife your ex-wife who passed away to whoever has him now. But if you want custody of your child and you want the child support payments to stop, you have to do something proactive to do that. That just doesn't happen automatically. So you need to get a lawyer right away to enforce your rights, okay?
All right. Well,
all right.
Great advice as always. Thank you much, Dave. Appreciate it.
Well, it's always here, and I'll be here Friday.